Projection. That's a big word. And I feel as if everybody watching this video, we have, all of us, including myself, we've all projected at some point in our lives. And I think it's important that as we get older, we realize how common it is for us to do this, because we don't want to face the reality of our own actions and behaviors and things that hurt other people or that potentially affect other people in really negative ways. Projection is just a part of the human condition. It's a normal defense mechanism that all of us exhibit at some point in our lives, and every single one of us is guilty of it at some point, right? It's unavoidable. It's a thing that we do, and unless we know that we're doing it, as we take proper steps to address our own inner issues, it's something that I'm finding that as I've gotten older, there are a lot of people who are very against therapy, who don't want to take the time it is required to go through therapy and work out your issues and learn better healthy coping mechanisms. Rather, people either then just nonstop project, drink, or do substances to cope with these behaviors that would otherwise be very destructive, toxic, and self-sabotaging. But projection, I want to talk about projection today because I want to talk about a little experience that I went through. And if you watched my video Boundaries, if you haven't seen my video Boundaries, go watch it. I had a traumatic experience happen last year. I'm not going to go into the details other than it was a very big affair that, after I left that situation, I walked out, some stuff happened. And in most cases where somebody really screws up in a major way, some certain people do damage control. And that happened towards me in my IRL circle. Not really online, although I just found out a couple days ago that there were some people that they reached out to online that they told some information that was just simply false. It's whatever. It's not that big a deal because it's such a minor thing. But it did affect me IRL in real life because they went and told people things that weren't true about me because I confronted an affair. And the result was then to go to a entirely separate group of people who I wanted to meet. They had a friend group, and I wanted to meet these friends, but for whatever reason, she didn't want me to meet these friends. She literally told me, I don't want you to be friends with my friends. And I thought that was really odd and like really weird because in the past, she had always introduced me to her friends. There was a prior friend group before that, that she told information about me that was false. I found out through them that information was false, and I confirmed. I'm like, okay, so she told you this, but this is what actually happened. And I have been, in the last couple of years, I was introduced to a lot of people that were not my friends, who kind of became friends because of the person who I was with. Does that make sense? So it was really my ex's circle of friends because she wanted me to be friends with people who she wasn't friends with. So I'm pretty introverted, and I am not a very trustworthy person when it comes to people online. So to me, for developing IRL friendships from people that she knows online, I'm very cautious, right? But eventually it led to a point where I let my defenses down because she made a point to let me say, I want you to be friends with my friends. You need to be more social. You need to be more this. You need to be more outspoken and not come down and like socialize for 25 minutes and then go in your room and like just, I'm very introverted. Not so much anymore, but I was a couple, over a year and a half ago, 2 years, 3 years. I've always been a very introverted person. Socializing with large groups of people does socially wear out my battery, okay? So I became friends with these people. They did something messed up. I ended up cutting contact with them. They did something messed up to me. They did something messed up to my ex. But they also were lied to they were lied to directly by my ex about things about me, which before that friendship ended, I confirmed. I'm like, okay, this was not true. And then, so there was a new group of people, right? I think it was about 15, 20 different people in this really big car group, huge car group, because my ex was really into the car scene. I think she still is. I don't really know. Don't really care either. It's not my business. But I wanted to meet these car people because I was really encouraging my partner to pursue like her car stuff because she's really into cars. I'm into cars. I was super into cars when I was a child. Like I had all the cars I wanted. I wanted a Cadillac Escalade, spinner rims. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I was a kid, right? I've always liked my Hondas, my Toyotas, my Nissans. I'm not like a crazy car fanatic, but I think cars are cool, right? I've always liked cars. I used to go to car show all the time with my dad growing up. So I was like, I encourage her to get into the car scene. That's what she wants to do. Go for it, right? Well, it just so happens that one of the reasons I found out she didn't want me to meet her friends is because that was one of the people in that friend group was also the person she was having the affair with. Go figure, right? So that made sense. But what really was the crazy aspect of all this is that after I confronted the affair, they disappeared for the whole day. They came back with this whole group of people, and they brought this gigantic group of people, including the person she was having the affair with, into the home with me there and other innocent people there. But what I found out after I left the following day is that she was telling this whole group, all these people who I had never met, right? She was projecting her own issues, her own problems, all to these other people about me. And I found out because some of those people, I don't know what, this bothers me. I don't know why. If you're in a relationship with somebody, I found out that she was telling this group of people that I dated a YouTuber, which thanks for diminishing our 4.5-year relationship. That feels really nice to just, succumb me to water me, Daniel, down to I do YouTube videos. Like, that's a great way to really make me feel like a person, like a human, is to diminish me to, just YouTube. That's like somebody just diminishing you down to, oh, you're that girl with tattoos, right? Really shitty thing to do. But whatever, right? She told a bunch of people, I dated this YouTuber, blah, 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 blah. And then I found out is that night where she left and brought all these people over, she was telling them that I was squatting, that I was leeching off of her, and I was squatting in her house. For those of you who may not be in the U.S., if you're squatting in somebody's house, that means you're basically living there. You can practically live in a house rent-free. It's called squatting rights. And in Washington State, it's actually we're pretty liberal to where people can just not pay rent and just squat in somebody's house for months and months and months. And then there's a whole legal process, and you can pretty much just live. It's an abuse of the legal system of how the laws are set up, but it's really common, right? Squatting is a pretty bad thing to do. But she was telling all these people I was squatting in her house. Now, the crazy thing is, when I found this out because I was contacted by several of these people in the big group of others, right? And they came to me. I didn't even know these people by a first name basis. These are people coming to me because she told all these people, I dated a YouTuber, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, now everybody knows who I am. Like, great job. Big brain move there. Like, you're telling somebody that I have a large social media platform. What do you think people are going to do? They're going to start documenting things that you're saying. They're going to start recording you without your knowledge and then sending me things of things that you were talking about me. And it's like, bro, why? What? Projection, okay? That's simple, projection. But she was telling everybody that I was living in her house rent-free and I wasn't contributing, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, when I found that out, I was so angry, okay? I drove down to my bank, and mind you, I had already left the living situation. I left, I went to the bank, I went and printed off every single bank payment from 2021 to 2024, okay? And mind you, when we split originally for a few months, because we split in end of 2023, and then we got back together in February of 2024 for a few months. During that time of us splitting, she asked me for help financially to help pay her mortgage, which, I was fine doing because I care for this person. And if I care for somebody, I will go above and beyond to help them in any way that I possibly can. That is a flaw of mine, and one that I have had to draw strong boundaries on now, because I'm not going to help people who do me dirty. Okay, it's just like, I don't know. I've done this with multiple other people in the past. It's donezo now. I've been through the proper therapy to where, I have to draw a line in the sand. I'm not helping anybody. It doesn't matter if I have feelings for somebody. It doesn't matter if I care for somebody. It doesn't matter if I love somebody. I'm not helping you. Go fuck yourself, literally. You fucked me over in some way. You fucked me in some way. You're out. That's literally my brain now. Anyways, so since it was start of 2020, it was around December. It was around the last quarter of 2022. I started paying the mortgage, which was $2,000. This is a little over $2,000 a month, full out, because I didn't mind doing that because they were going through some issues, and I'm like, I want to help you in any way that I can, so I'm going to take over the mortgage, and I did that since the end of 2022 all the way till 2024 of summer of last year of $2,000 a month. So I spent like 36, almost 40 grand probably in the house mortgage payments. But anyway, I went to the bank and I printed out every single payment transaction, which was like 500 and some pages. I placed it and I took a whole day and I highlighted every mortgage payment in this big document. And I don't even know what I was doing other than like just proving to myself, like, how can you say that I was squatting in your house? How can you say that I was squatting in your house, bro? So after I went through all these documents, right, I actually sent a few of the documents to a couple people just to like validate myself and how I was feeling at the time, because they told me like, yeah, they said that you weren't doing this financially and that you didn't contribute at all. And I'm like, bro, here's 5 months of bank statements, and it has my name and the mortgage company like payment on my credit or debit card. It's like, I don't know why they're saying this other than they're projecting the fact that they hadn't paid their own mortgage in almost 3 years. No, 2.5, 3 years. Projection, man. I don't know. It's a self-deflection thing. But when I found that out, it made me so angry, right? So angry, but I had to calm myself down. I'm like, dude, I'm going all, what do I gain by doing all this work, proving I already know that I'm in the right here? People who I don't know have come to me and told me that they now know the reality of what was going on, and they apologized to me. That was the biggest thing, is that they apologized to me. And even though I didn't know these people, I had I think 6 different people out of the group of 20 plus come and apologize to me. And it felt really nice. And I don't know if they're watching this, but if you know who you are, thank you. It meant a lot to me to have complete strangers come to me and apologize for something that you didn't know, right? Like, you're being told one side of something. But let me tell you guys, when it comes to situations, there is always 2 sides to everything. There is. I know that's cliche to say, but there is. There's 2 sides to everything, and not everything is always how it seems when people explain it. And honestly, I don't have any bitterness or resentment after the fact, because I know that people found out the truth, and I didn't even have to do anything for people to find out what the truth was. And that's amazing to me, that people can come to their own conclusions, right? And make their own decisions and say, hey, this person was lying about this other person who I've only met once, and I apologize for believing somebody and almost like, in a way, amping them up. I'm like, wow, you're dating somebody who's squatting in your house? What a low life. How could somebody do, And they have the balls to say, hey, I was wrong for believing what this person was doing and saying about you, and I apologize. That just means so much to me, and I appreciate that. More than you realize, because my God, did it feel isolating and really difficult emotionally, knowing that there are people out in IRL, like, this is not the online, this is off the internet. There's people in real life thinking that I'm a certain type of way because somebody said something to them because they couldn't deal with the fact that I called them out on something horrible that they were doing to me and a few others. And yeah, so thank you to those few people. And I know that I know a couple of them are probably watching this, but I appreciate your apology. I appreciate you having the self-awareness to ask questions and not just simply believe something blindly because somebody tells it to you without question. I try to live a life of question everything, and if one person tells me something, there may be another piece of information that's lacking that will fully give a full circle of what's actually ongoing. And back then, a year ago, that stuff hurt when I found out that somebody was lying about me in IRL circle, because normally when people lie, it's usually over the internet, and it's easy to lie over the internet, but it's even more I think, traumatic for people when you have real people believing things in a real life circle that you want to be friends with, and then they don't want anything to do with you because somebody said something else to somebody else that isn't true, but they didn't do their due diligence just to confirm what was said and what was true and what wasn't, right? But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, to know that if you are a viewer of mine and if you've experienced anything very similar, just know that you don't need closure for somebody really lying about you, because at some point lies will always snap. There will always be little cracks, and there will be people who make it through those cracks and see things for what they really are. And there are good people out there who will not always just believe what they're told. I know it's easier said than done, but they are out there, and if you lie enough, lies do catch up with you. So that's the moral of the story. Thank you for watching. Also, if you've made it this far, let me get you something. So I don't know if you guys like Pokemon. Do you guys like Pokemon? I love Pokemon. I'm going to do something a little bit differently that I've never done before. So, the sponsor of the channel is Vance Global. Use code REPSION at checkout for 20% off all orders. They specialize in wonderful CBD products. They will help you with anxiety, sleep, and all those things that we deal with, right? If you order something from Vance Global, all right, and then you send me an email with the title Pokemon entry, okay? You need to write this in the email. Email is linked down below. Send me your Vance Global receipt of your order, and I will put you in a drawing for one Elite Journey Together trainer box, okay? I actually have like 5 of these, so I would like to give one of you guys the sealed Journey Together Elite Trainer box, okay? This is worth 50 some bucks. Actually, I think it's worth more than that on eBay. I think these are worth like 80 or something. People are buying these on eBay. To one lucky person, you have to order through Vance Global. You have to use my discount code, and you have to send me an email. That's the requirement. And then the end of, what is today? Today is July 21st. In one of my videos near the end of the month, I'll do a drawing of the entries. So if only one person enters, you're going to win this, literally. So it's all about how many people enter. You have to order off Vance Global, send me the receipt, title it in the email, Pokemon entry, and potentially you'll win that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys in a couple days for another video. Thinking about subjects to talk about. I'm probably going to talk about marriage next, because I have a lot of thoughts on marriage, and oh boy, how my thoughts on marriage has dramatically shifted in the last year. And yeah, so probably going to talk about marriage next. So deuces.